Welcome to my September reading wrap-up. So I did do an August reading wrap-up, but I didn't read as much in August, and this month I read 9 books, which honestly, it's really good. Comparing my other months, I had a few months that I didn't read at all, so 9 books, I am proud. 9 books is a lot for me right now. So I'm gonna talk about each book. I'm gonna give you guys my rating and all. I also want to tell you guys that there's a new podcast episode. It's gonna be linked in the description. I literally have podcast episodes planned, like weekly episodes from now to December, so buckle up. But let's start with the reading wrap up. Sorry about my voice. First, I just woke up, and second of all, my voice has been really weird lately. So it's literally 7:53 when I'm filming this. So bear with me. So I'm gonna talk about the books in the order that I read them this month. So first, I started the month reading a Colleen Hoover book for one of the TBR episodes. If you don't know what I mean, I'm doing a to be read series over on my TikTok and over here that I'm basically randomly picking out books from my TBR shelves, to be read bookshelves basically, and picking out books, reading them. So this was the first one that I picked out for the month of September, technically. So this is Slammed by Colleen Hoover, and oh my gosh. Wait, so I've had this book in my TBR since last year, like more than a year. And I don't know why, I just never picked it up. I know that a ton of you guys always commented on my videos and always told me to read it because it's really good, and I can agree. I can agree. So first off, this is a 5-star read, you guys. It was so good. But it's sad as hell. I'm just gonna tell you guys that right away. So the main character is Lakin, and she is 18 years old. She moves across the country basically with her family, with her mom and her little brother, because her dad passed away. So they are basically moving. They sold the house that they've lived their entire life, and they moved across the country to a very small town. So the first day that they get there, they get to the house that they are, I don't know if they're renting or buying, I don't remember. They get to their new house, and it's basically like a neighborhood, and there's a little boy playing outside when they get there. They soon find out that that little boy is their neighbor. So their neighbors are that little boy that I literally don't remember his name, but the little boy is the same age as Lakin's little brother. So they instantly become friends, the two little brothers, and in that moment that they meet, Lakin meets the little boy's brother, which is a 21-year-old guy. It's not like love at first sight, no, but obviously attraction at first sight. They start talking and it's really cute. So the guy is Will. So that's the main male character and love interest of the story. So Will asks Lakin to go on a date. They go on a date. It's super, super cute. Everything goes well until she arrives at her new school, high school, because she's a senior in high school. She's finishing high school. She finds out something about Will the first day of school. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because it is kind of a little bit of a spoiler. It talks a lot not only about Will and Lakin, not only the love interest of the story, but it also talks a lot about their parents, what they've gone through. Lakin's mom, she's a big part of the story. The little brothers, so adorable. Overall, I really liked it. So this is the first book that I read in the month of September, and I want to remind you guys that always look up trigger warnings for any book that you want to read. Next book that I read is this one, Alex Approximately. My voice. But the next book that I read was Alex Approximately. I've also had this book in my TBR for so long. This was another this was another book for the TBR series, and unfortunately, I did not really like this book. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't horrific, but it wasn't good in my opinion. It was just not my type of book. Maybe for you it could be, but for me it wasn't. So this book is basically about Bailey and Alex. This is a YA book, by the way, so you know, if you want like a sweet YA book, you're probably gonna like this. But this book is about Bailey and Alex. They are basically pen pals for many years, and they don't know what they look like because basically they chat online, but they don't have profile pictures. Bailey doesn't even have like social media, like nothing. And they also have like fake names, so they don't even know their real names. I'm gonna talk about them with their real names because I just don't remember their usernames. But Alex, the boy, has always told Bailey to go meet him in California for like a film festival. They love film and talking about film and all that stuff. So one thing about Bailey is that her parents are divorced. She lives with her mother and her stepdad. And when there's kind of like trouble at home with her mother and the stepdad, she decides to go live with her dad, her biological dad, which is in California, which is basically the same city, the same city, small town as Alex. But when she gets there, she doesn't tell Alex that she's there. Right from the beginning, she gets a job at a museum, but there's one security guard, one of the security guards that she absolutely hates, and he hates her. So they tear each other apart. They argue so much, and obviously that's the start of the story. A lot of different things happen, but the reason why I don't really like this book is that it was really slow. It was really slow, for me at least. A little bit repetitive. I was just really annoyed at one point. I wouldn't say it's the longest book ever, but this book could have been like maybe 200 pages. It wasn't my favorite for those reasons. I've also seen a lot of people like this book, so just because I didn't like it, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna like it. So it's a YA cute book, cute story, just wasn't my favorite. Okay, next book that I read is The Buy-In by Emma St. Clair. So this one, also part of the TBR series, this one was really cute. Okay, this one was really cute. I actually did like this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's honestly really cute. So it's a small town and it's a second chance romance. And technically single mom. Technically, I'm gonna explain. So this book is about Patrick and Lindy. So Lindy, the main female character, and Patrick, the main male character. So when the story takes place, they basically already dated years before, and he broke her heart. And it was always the girl that got away, you know? So now, in the present moment, basically Patrick was an NFL player and he got injured. He couldn't play anymore, and he has spent years not knowing what to do with his life, like years, just literally lost. And he's really close with his dad and his brothers. And one day, his dad tells him that he literally bought a small town in Texas that's called Sheetcake. And when Patrick hears that the town is called Sheetcake, he literally goes blank because that little town is Lindy's town. They haven't seen each other for so many years, and Patrick goes to visit the town, get to know the town with his dad. And the first day that they go, he runs into Lindy. And it's a whole spectacle, obviously. She doesn't want to see him, but the thing is that he sees her with a little girl. But that little girl is Lindsay's niece. That's why I say it has a single mom trope, because she basically has taken care of her niece her entire life. Because Lindsay's sister is a drug addict, she is basically a mess. But actually at the time of the story, Lindsay's sister is trying to get custody of her daughter because her sister is supposedly clean. She's doing a lot better. She's married with like a very rich man, and she's trying to get custody of her daughter. So why is that important? Because when Lindsay goes to a lawyer to try to defend herself and like stay with her niece, the lawyer tells her that it's best if she would be married or had a boyfriend or something stable. And that's where Patrick comes into play, because this is also a fake dating trope. I'm not gonna tell you guys anything more, but honestly, I really liked it. I I really liked it. I love the writing style. You get both POVs. It's it's a bit funny as well. I liked it. Like, definitely recommend it to you guys. Okay, the next book that I read, and I'm gonna try to speed up the process here because I feel like I'm talking a lot. So, How to Be the Best Third Wheel by Loridee de Villa. So this was also part of the TBR series, and I had to say this is one of my favorite books of the month. 5-star read, first of all, obviously. This was actually a Wattpad story, so this is published by Wattpad Books, which is so freaking cool. I literally love that Wattpad has basically become a publishing house and they help new authors to be discovered. Like, I love that. So this is a YA book. So the main character is Laura. Laura is going into her senior year of high school and she has her 3 best friends. And for the majority of high school, they have always been together. They have done everything together, inseparable basically. They've never had like boyfriend problems. And the first day of her senior year, she gets to the school and she runs to hug her best friends. But just before she could do that, someone puts out a leg and she trips so bad. It was the main love interest of the story, which is James. So Laura and James have been like childhood friends. I wouldn't say best friends because now they are enemies, but they were friends growing up because their families like know each other. So that is the first interaction that you get. So you get Laura and you get James, and you already know that they hate each other so much. The thing is that when she gets to actually say hi to her best friends and talk with them, James, her nemesis, also has three best friends. So now these 3 boys are dating her best friends. So each of her best friends has boyfriends now, and she's the only one that doesn't have a boyfriend. But she didn't know that, and James didn't know as well. So they are now both basically third wheeling. It's honestly really cute because it's not all about like third wheels and boyfriends and all that stuff, but actually I love how the main female character thinks. Like, if I were to read this book when I was 15 years old, I would have learned so much. It has so much more to it, so that is why I personally loved it so freaking much. And that's what I put in my review. I remember, like, I wish I had read this book when I was 15 years old. So I definitely recommend this book so much. Next book that I read is Here for the Drama by Kate Bromley, also part of the TBR series, and I did do a whole reading vlog here on my YouTube channel for this book. So if you want to go ahead and watch the reading vlog, you can go watch it. I have a whole playlist that I'm gonna put down in the description of my TBR series. So this book I gave 4 stars. This one is about Winnie. So Winnie has always wanted to be a famous playwright. She is stuck with like a personal assistant job to a very famous playwright, which is called Juliet. So Juliet is a very famous playwright. She has a lot of money, and Winnie has been working for her as her assistant for a long time. So this book reminded me a lot of kind of that vibe of The Devil Wears Prada, also The Bold Type, that kind of stuff, because you get Juliet that's a lot like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, that kind of attitude. But basically the story starts with her being Juliet's assistant as always, and Juliet asks Winnie to accompany her to London. So Winnie ends up going to London with Juliet. But the thing is that Juliet has been in a rut for many years. She actually hasn't like written a new play in many years. So she uses Winnie as an experiment to give her inspiration. So when they get to London, Juliet asks Winnie to basically go on a few dates, which are horrible, by the way. But the actual love interest of the story is Juliet's nephew, which is Liam. And overall, it's very much like The Devil Wears Prada, but if you like plays, films, playwrights, it's like entertaining. You get a love interest, so I do recommend it. Okay, next book that I read, also part of the TBR series, For Butter or Worse by Erin la Rosa. So I also did a reading vlog for this book if you want to go watch it. This book is about Nina and Leo. So Nina is a famous chef and she is part of these like competition cooking shows. But her and Leo are the like hosts. So they host the show. They say like horrible things to each other, and the story starts with them having the first live show. And Nina ends up quitting on live TV. And now Leo's job is in jeopardy. He relies on Nina. If Nina doesn't come back, he gets fired, basically. So now Nina is getting very, very bad press, and she actually has a restaurant, and her restaurant, her business, her name is getting so much hate. So now that Nina needs something and Leo needs something, and they both need something from each other, they start fake dating to kind of like prove the public that they can get along. I rated this book 4 stars. It was a good book. I did like it. It was entertaining, a cute story. Wasn't one of my favorites again, but it was overall a good book. Star of the show, star of today's video, is this next book, King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I also have a reading vlog for this book. This is one of my new favorite books of all time. It's so good. Okay, if you want just gonna tell you guys right away, if you want like a spicy romance fantasy book about vampires, I honestly like don't even want to say anything about this book because I just want you guys to go in blind and just read the damn book. I'm literally just gonna read the back of the book because I don't want to give anything away. So it says, Isolde de Lara considers her wedding day to be her death day. To end a years-long war and protect the people of her kingdom, she is to marry the vampire king, Adrian Alexander, and kill him. But her assassination attempt is thwarted, and Adrian warns that if Isolde tries to kill him again, he will raise her as the undead. Faced with the possibility of becoming the thing she hates most, Isolde seeks other ways to defy him and survive the violence and political machinations of Adrian's brutal vampire court. Except it isn't the court she ends up fearing the most, it's Adrian and her intense attraction to him. Wrapped in mystery and a past he refuses to discuss, Adrian nevertheless starts to become less of a monster to Isolde. Despite their undeniable chemistry, Isolde can't help but wonder why the king, fierce, complicated, ambitious, and at times tender, chose her as consort. The answer will shatter her world. If you want like a spoiler review, go to the reading vlog for this book because I gave like at the end of the video, I gave like a spoiler section if you've read the book. Okay, next book that I read is actually book number 3 of the Throne of Glass series, which is Heir of Fire. This took me a while. To read, but I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars because it wasn't my favorite, but I feel like it was important to the story. Like I'm not gonna tell you guys anything about this book really because I just can't. I'm probably gonna spoil a lot. So mostly just mentioning that I read the book and I did like it. It wasn't my favorite, but I feel like it's important to the story. You get a lot of new characters, so yeah, but it was good. I actually started the 4th book, which is Queen of Shadows. Okay, and the last book that I read in the month of September is Fresh by Margot Wood. This book was also part of the TBR series, and like before I read the book, I just knew that it had something to do with college. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Again, it wasn't my favorite, but it was good. So the main female character is Elliot, and it basically starts with her getting to college. The first time getting to college. She's a freshman, she's moving in the dorms. She's like very energetic, very funny, and the first day that she gets there to the dorms, she meets her roommate, which is Lucy, and they instantly become like best friends. But in this first day, when Elliot arrived to her new dorm, she decided that she wanted to do laundry and basically wash her new sheets for her bed. So she goes to the laundry room and she goes with a little basket of everything like detergent, dryer sheets, everything like that. And she goes, leaves her clothes washing, leaves the basket with the things, and she goes back to her room. And when she comes back, she sees that there's a girl that's using her detergent, her dryer sheets, everything. And when Elliot gets to her and starts like, what are you doing? She automatically tells her like very snarky, like everything you leave outside, it's public property. Like nobody cares if your things have your name. So why do I mention this interaction? Because that girl is named Rose, and that is going to be a very important character in this story. Elliot starts going to school. She starts going to her classes. So for one of her classes, she has to do a project, basically a paper, but she decides to do kind of like an experiment. She is going to write about the best sex she's ever had. But in order to have that, she has to start experiencing. So she selects a few people that she wants to have sex with. So that is just part of the book. But then the love interest of the story, which is Rose, and that obviously becomes like something else. And I'm not gonna tell you guys anything else, but honestly, it was a really fun book. The main character is so funny, very energetic. You're like never bored. The writing style, you never get bored of the writing style. I enjoyed this book. I hadn't like actually read anything college-wise like this, like the actual college experience. I don't know, maybe since like the off-campus series. So it was so cool to read a book like this. Okay, guys, those are all the books that I read in the month of September. I am really proud of myself because I read, in my opinion, so many books. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have some new recommendations for you to read. Obviously, I already started reading a new book for the month of October. Happy Halloween month, by the way. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And stay tuned for podcast episodes, for more videos, for more TBR series videos. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you then. Bye!